Hey folks, Dr. Emily here, and today we are continuing with our theme of the Mythical Man Month. What the heck is the Mythical Man Month? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. It's actually from a book called The Mythical Man Month that was published originally back in the 70s. It's a seminal software engineering work that any student of software engineering should really know about. It's as famous as, the design patterns by Gang of Four. I can show you that one too. I've got it on my shelf. So this is the seminal work on design patterns, all things that as software engineers we want to have in our toolbox. So this is actually the 20th anniversary edition. If you're a student at the TechJoy Career Academy, I have a PDF link for you to the original. In fact, I have my mom's signed original version because when this work came out, it was huge. It's the result of over a decade of learning on how to build awesome software when people were building like the very first operating systems and languages back in the 60s and 70s. And so it's actually a really old piece of work, but there's a lot of like really truthful principles at work here that are still at play today, because something that's truthful, right? Like when you actually understand something, it doesn't matter how the world changes. The truth is the truth, right? Like 2 + 2 is still 4. Okay, you might take it to other number systems. There's always like caveats, right? But at the end of the day, there's some certain principles that are always at work. If you're on the earth and you throw a ball up, it comes back down, right? Because gravity is a principle. It's a truth that's at work here. And so the same is true for software engineering, right? The truth is the truth, right? And so today we're going to dive into the chapter that's the same title as the book, The Mythical Man Month. And if you're here and joining us, welcome, Blake. Please drop in the chat. Give me a link. Give me a shout out so I can say hi to you folks. Don't worry, I'll drop some links later. But this is by Frederick P. Brooks Jr. When I was a professor of software engineering, I taught this at the undergrad and the graduate level. Like, this is a really, really cool book. Now, what are we talking about? The Mythical Man Month. Okay, so the basic premise of the Mythical Man Month is that when you add additional developers to a software project, what happens? Does it speed up or does it slow down? Right? Let's say you have a software project. It's been estimated to take 3 months to build. Your team is 4. Great. You've got 4 people on your team and you want to build this in 3 months. And your client comes to you and says, hey, can we get this in a month? Let's add triple the developers and let's get it down to 1 month. Okay, this is the premise, right? This is what the Mythical Man Month is all about. Oh my goodness, so good, Melissa. I'm so glad that you started watching this and started, reading this book. So let's say we have our team of 4, and they're going to get it done in 3 months, but we want it done now in 1 month. So we're going to add 6 more people, 12 more people, however many more people you want. We're going to add however many people it takes to get it done in a month. What's going to happen to that development timeline? It's going to be really spread out, right? Why is this? Why is it, right? Why can't you just add more to it and have it go faster, right? So this is the idea behind the Mythical Man Month, is that when you add someone to a project, it actually makes it later. Let me break this down for you, right? So again, I highly recommend reading the original, but just to give you a sense of the intuition behind it. The idea is that, like, have you ever worked on a team, like in school, right? And have you ever had the experience where someone new joins the team? When someone new joins the team, what happens to the rest of the team members, right? So team members are working. Your original team of 4, they're working. They're clicking. They've got a 3-month schedule. They're vibing. They're on target. Okay, the train is moving slowly, but it's moving. Now you get the new guy comes. Can the new guy get started right away? Yes, but with help from the team that's already working, because he needs access. He needs to understand the lay of the land. He needs to be told what to do. So now the team, instead of keeping the train moving forward, at least one of them has to leave, right? Exactly, Melissa. Somebody has to get that new guy started. So somebody has to leave what they're doing and train the new guy. Okay, so that means whatever they were working on is now delayed, which potentially could delay everybody else. We're not even considering that scenario. But now the team is delayed because there's a new guy. But you might say, hey, wait, but once he gets up to speed, isn't he going to contribute as quickly as everybody else who's on the team? Well, yes and no, right? So now he's contributing. Let's say in the best case scenario, he comes right in and he contributes. Most people can't come in and do that unless they're already within the organization and they like know the team members really well. Now, let's assume though that he comes in and he's rocking out, right? Let's assume he comes in and he rocks out. Okay, awesome. Now what? Well, the team keeps going. Now someone has to assign him work. They have to change the schedule they've already planned out and mapped. And they have to get the new guy up to speed. They have to give him work to do. And now whenever they communicate, now there's 5 people that need to understand the decisions that are happening, right? And actually, Google has done a lot of research into this. And there's a reason why I picked the team size 4. That's the magical number at which Google finds software teams are optimal. 4 people, no more, no less. We actually use teams of much larger than 4 people. But for production purposes, like in a traditional business environment, 3 or 4 is the magic number. And I've definitely seen this play out in a classroom setting as well, where I taught dozens and dozens of students how to build software like this. And yeah, the teams of 2 usually didn't get nearly as much done as the teams of 3 or 4. And to be honest, 4 was really a better number than 3. 3, it's still possible to have a hero just take ownership and just do the whole thing. And that's like a team of 1, never a good fit. So this team of 4, they've added a new player, and now they've just increased the complexity. They've taken someone off the project to get them up to speed, at least one person, and now they've got to try to like keep up with what they were doing, and what they were doing might be critical to the continuance of the other 2 team members that were there, right? Or the other 3 team members. So like now they're delaying the whole timeline for everybody because someone whose job was already assigned is now training the new guy, right? He gets up to speed. Now they have to figure out, okay, they made a plan of action. They had it all mapped out. Now they have to like divvy up the work again. Okay, that's wasted effort. That's overhead, right? That's overhead of getting the work done. And now you have communication challenges. Wait, what are we building? What are we doing? Right? And it's all, so all of this communication overhead means when you add new people to a project, it actually gets later. It takes longer to build. I know it's crazy, right? The Mythical Man Month, that adding more people to a project does not make it faster, right? Sometimes adding more resources to something will make it go faster. Like in advertising, when you add more money to a budget, you're probably going to get more people. You're going to get out there. Maybe if you're trying to build your YouTube channel, right? You create more videos, right? You get more people. But with software, it's different. With software, if you add more to it, you're not getting more, right? Like if I have a recipe for chocolate chip cookies, I'm going to try and make this like more intuitive. I have a recipe for chocolate chip cookies. And if I double my recipe, I'm going to get double the cookies. But it doesn't work that way in software. If you have a team of 4 and you double it to a team of 8, you don't get the software twice as fast. In fact, you probably get it like twice as slow, right? And it's because of this communication overhead, because the hard part of software isn't necessarily the building of it, right? There are some decision making that happens there, but it's about communicating and understanding this idea that exists only in someone's mind. Like if you think about it, like software is pretty crazy, right? Someone has an idea for a piece of software. It exists only in their minds. And then other people are going to potentially build it for them. Like that's the job of a software developer, is to take what lives only in someone's head and bring it into reality, into the here and now. And so when you add more people, now you have more people who are going to need to understand and appreciate that vision to help it move forward. And you're going to increase the communication complexity. And that's also going to be challenging. And so when you want to make a project go faster, usually adding more people is not the way to go. Where you can make a project go faster is by up-leveling the tools for the developers that are already there. Hence, we have this AI revolution, right? AI will help you get started, but it's not going to be able to make those bigger picture architecture decisions that help guide you on like, okay, where should I store this data? What platform should we be using, right? Is this a good library for this long term? It might work right now for the MVP, but is this going to really work over the long haul? So there's a lot of ways that tools can help support the people that are already on the team, but usually adding someone to a team is going to make it later. Now, inside the TechJoy Career Academy, our internship is designed to be a training internship. And so our projects actually thrive with more people, but we've developed a very specific structure for that. And we have dedicated staff members whose job it is to get the new team members up to speed. So we've literally made it part of our market advantage for delivering top quality software in, really reasonable timelines. And so that's really unheard of, and it's really unusual. Usually you have a team of 3 or 4 working on a project, and if they want it done faster, really your options are cutting quality. Nobody wants to cut quality. I would never recommend that, actually, because you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You're buying debt later, and potentially it'll spiral so far out of control that you can never catch up. Because when you make a wrong move in software and you keep it going, like it can go really haywire. So like you don't want to cut quality. So your only other option is to cut functionality. Like literally that's it. If you want something delivered faster, get more creative with how you're doing the functionality. Get it into the hands of users, get their feedback, and go from there. You can add people to a team, but every time you add someone to a software team, you're increasing the complexity of the communication, right? And so that's going to get really, really big. It doesn't matter if you're using Discord or like Slack or a broadcast channel. It's just like the number of minds that have to get on board with the decision. It just takes longer. It takes longer to do everything. And so if you have everyone from a similar organization, it could be faster. But at the end of the day, they don't know the architecture for this particular solution. And this is what people often don't realize about software, right? Is that the hard part of software is not really the building of it. The design is part of it. But like if you're going to have someone build software for you, and you want it maintained over time, that knowledge of how the software is set up to work, that is the critical piece. So for instance, I help, work with clients and tech founders get launched. And sometimes they've gone to other developers before coming to us because we're not, we offer super high quality and it's priced accordingly. We're very competitively priced, but it's not bargain basement by any means. And sometimes people come to us and they've done the bargain basement, right? They've outsourced to a developer who actually can't even deliver on what they've asked. That's a real bummer. And so they spend thousands of dollars, blowing money left and right on developers that can't actually do and execute their vision, can't do what they want. And so they come to us second time and they're like, well, here I have this thing started. And we'll usually look at it, but it's so flawed in how it's been designed. There's usually not any point in actually keeping it. And in fact, the hardest part to get right about software is that design, is that architecture, and is it where you want it to be? And when I say design, I don't mean what it looks and feels like, because that you actually can transfer from project to project. If you liked it, you can just port it over. That's easy. But the design of like, where does the code go? What files and folders? Where does the data go? How does the path of control, like when someone clicks over here, where does it execute and fire within the app? Those are the decisions that are really important. And it's those decisions that it's hardest to communicate about, because the only way you can learn them is by painstakingly looking over the code and reading it and having someone say, hey, can you fix this thing? And like just looking at this hot mess, right? It's almost like a needle in a haystack. And you're like, okay, I'll fix this, right? Like that is the hard part. And so that's what I think people don't always realize, is that it's really important to actually invest in your software structure. But even more importantly than that is having people ready to go that actually know how to make the changes quickly that you're looking for. And so I think that's where sometimes people who commission software for others, right, who are looking for that software, sometimes they get off base a little bit, is because they just say, hey, okay, I'm going to just pay any old person off the street. I'm going to get some developer on Fiverr who's going to build me this awesome software. Yes, but if they go down that pathway and they can't actually fully execute, now you've got this behemoth that nobody can touch, right? And that's not very useful for anybody. So building software is serious business. It can go awesome. It can go sideways, right? I had a project once where we built it and we could see that the way we had originally designed it, it was going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars to maintain in years 2 and 3. This was a startup. They had like zero revenue. So what we did, because we pride ourselves on the quality of the work that we create, we painstakingly rewrote the pieces that were going to be too expensive to maintain. We up-leveled the technology. We took on a new framework, and we did it out of our pocket. If I was in an education institution where like we set a super high bar for quality for ourselves, no one would have made that investment for that particular project, right? It just would have been like, whoops, okay, well, that sucks. Okay, we'll keep going, right? Try to make more on your business, but that's not really feasible for most software projects. So learning how to do this, it's a craft, right? Learning how to do it well is super, super important. Awesome sauce, folks. So if you like the Mythical Man Month, if you like talking about these topics from in the trenches of like how to build awesome software, let me know. Give me a like, drop a question in the chat. If there are any questions specifically like on this topic, please drop them in the comments. I'll try and answer them now before we go. But if you like this, I was thinking we can look at, some of my favorite chapters here. Like there's one called like the tar pit, which is really good. Ooh, the second system effect. I hinted at that last time. I really like that one. There's some really good ones in here. And so if you're interested, happy to chat about those and dive into like what it actually looks like to build software that works, that is robust, that is scalable, that works mostly out of the box. Almost nothing works out of the box. Like the first time, you always have a little bit of a tweaking period. But you can build good quality software. We know how to do it. We know the process for doing it. It's not the simplest, but we do know how to do it as scientists. And so now we get to create it, which is pretty awesome. And so if you're someone who's interested in creating awesome software and learning how to build it properly and get paid handsomely to do so, I also want to let you know that we do have an amazing trial offer going on where you can just try us out for a week and see how it goes. So I'm going to post this link in the comments. And so if you're interested, please join us. It's almost no risk to you. We're offering a money back guarantee this month. So I think it's really, really a really great time to join us. Awesome. Okay, no worries, no worries. So hello@TechJoy Software is not actually our email address. So if you've got that link from our website, please tell me so I can fix it. But we're hello@techjoysoftware.com. Excellent. So that could be why we might not have been getting those emails. But to be honest, and you can respond to any email or text message from us. You can just reply there, and our team will get back to you. All right. Awesome sauce, folks. Great questions. Okay, cool. Then I'm definitely going to have to work on making sure that we get that cleared up. My apologies. We used to have an email that was hello@joyofcoding.academy. So it might have just been a switch over error. So no worries. So glad to see you. Excellent, folks. So great job today. Keep those questions coming, and I look forward to seeing you soon. All right. Peace.